what do you feel like is one of the biggest lessons you've learned so far, in that, living a full life in such a short amount of time?
Why are we doing this? That's something that when I'm waking up, that's what I ask myself every morning. Like, why are we doing this? Because I think if you get an answer that you don't like, then it's time to change. So for me, when I first started my old job, why am I doing this? Well, I was young. Wanted to make money. And then it turned into like, damn, I'm actually impacting these kids. Because, we worked with a lot of high school and college students. And they would always tell us, like, man, like, you helped me make this money. You helped me get this scholarship. You helped me do this. So, but then, later down the line, it went back to like, oh, I'm doing this for the money. I'm chasing the fame or whatever. And when I was like, okay, why am I doing this? Okay, I'm only doing this because I'm trying to make money. And I'm trying to win these, I got all these sales trophies and stuff in my closet from like that job. It's okay, let me start DJing because that's what makes me happy.
This is Sad Boy Radio.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sad Boy Radio. I'm your host, Matt, and today we got another special guest. He's been DJing for at least full-time, right? About a year and a half you've been doing it.
Full-time, yeah.
Man, you've done a lot. You got a lot of events at Underground, Joy, Hubbard Inn. You did the event with Mauricio over there for his birthday and shit. Introduce yourself to the crowd, bro, to the viewers.
My name is Payday, DJ Payday. I'm from the south side of Chicago, and I'm a full-time DJ in a lot of clubs in River North, so like Electric Hotel, Joy District, Hubbard Inn, Underground, El Jefe, and I'm an open format DJ too, so that means I could do any genre.
Hey, bro, you gotta be versatile with it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But man, let's take it back to, before you were a DJ. You were doing Cutco and Vector for a minute, right?
Yeah, it was, for sure. How'd you know that?
Hey, bro, I told you, bro. I told you.
That's funny.
You had security with that job, obviously, and you took that risk of, leaving it and going full-time DJing. And man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I looked through your Instagram profile, so that's how I found out all this shit, bro. But looking over the profile, obviously, I found some things out. I saw the text that you sent your mom, letting her know, like, hey, I'm gonna quit and I'm gonna take this risk. And her response was a Bible verse.
Yeah.
The Bible verse said, 33, but seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So what was your initial interpretation of this?
Yeah, so my mom, obviously, from that text, she's always been real spiritual. And, I grew up in church and things like that. So she's always throwing out Bible verses and things like that. And she always told me when I was growing up, like, always keep God first in everything you do. And she's always talking to me about, like, hey, maybe sometimes when what you're trying to do isn't working out, that's God telling you that that's not the plan he has for you. So that's kind of what it was going back to. In that time in my life, I had been with that job since I was in high school. So since I was like 17 years old, I've been working with them. And I had a great experience. I have nothing bad to say about the company or anything, but it was just that time,
How did that text change everything for you?
When I read the text, I was really asking her for advice. I was like, what do you think I should do? It changed everything. I kind of just really went into a time of reflection to really kind of think about it. Like, is this what God has for me? What I'm doing right now or what I'm thinking about doing. And so I really just asked him, like, hey, God, make sure that I make the right decision, moving forward. And I was just asking for wisdom in that sense.
And even on the post, you talk about how, really you were asking her, like, to talk you out of it, right? That was kind of your subliminal message, right?
Yeah.
Aside from being scared, why do you feel like you were scared to do that in the first place, right? Like, where did this fear come from? Why not just take that risk?
I think anytime you're trying to try something new or do something that's against the norm, it's always going to have, a little bit of anxiety when you're thinking about it. So for me, like I told you earlier, I had been DJing since high school, since I was like 16 years old. And I stopped when I went to school, when I started working and things like that. And then actually during COVID, it was more like a blessing for me because I was at home all the time. And I was bored at the house. So I was like, I should probably start DJing again. So I bought some more DJ equipment, got back into it. And so during that time, I started kind of redeveloping the passion that I have for it. And so then when I was at the job, I was like, man, like, I've always wanted to DJ. This isn't just something I just thought about. It's something I've always had a goal of doing. So, just moving forward with that, I I was afraid because I was like, I'm gonna step into like a dream, essentially. Not to sound cheesy, but that's what it's always been.
Just being able to pursue those dreams, not a lot of people get that opportunity, and you've made it happen for yourself. You've really you're building that brand and you're building the name for yourself. Just like you said, it doesn't happen overnight. And now you're playing these big clubs in River North. You're building relationships with Chicago legends like DJ Ozone, right? And being able to do all of that, there are things that you never really think are going to happen until they are happening for you, right? For you, what's one of the most significant memories you've created so far after taking that risk of going full-time as a DJ?
For me, I met so many great people that have like supported me and been in my corner over the years, like DJ Maximo. He's the one that really kind of got me in the industry and got my start, to working really closely with like Protege and the things that he does with like Good Company brand and things like that. So I would say probably my biggest like best memory so far has been anytime I'm like at the Roof on a Wit with Protege, because that's just a good vibe. Or anytime I'm at El Jefe on a Saturday night with Maximo, because that's where it all started. And Maximo used to take me to El Jefe with him every Saturday. I did that for like a whole year, and just like watching him, and literally every Saturday for like a whole year straight, I used to just kick it with him. So those were always good times.
Hey, so when did he finally let you hop on the decks then?
So he actually never let me hop on at Jefe. Sometimes if he, nowadays, but when I first got my start, I started getting bookings at Clutch, which is now Bloom. But I was, watching him and then going and doing my own thing. So it's kind of like a student teacher type of thing. But yeah.
Clutch ain't Clutch no more?
Nah, they changed it. It's like Bloom now, but they have a ladies' night every Tuesday. It gets pretty popping.
Aside from all of that, you do your Payday recaps. I don't know if you still do them.
I haven't done one in a minute, but yeah, I used to do them a lot.
Why'd you stop?
I don't know. I mean, I think I stopped because when I started, I did it as a journal, and then I was like, I should share these. And then as I started sharing it and getting more feedback, I was like, all right, I'm going to start journaling more and not posting it as much, and then trying to get back to it later on,
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you started doing it to share it because you genuinely felt like they should be shared, or were you kind of doing it in the sense to, continue to build that brand and kind of give yourself a new light, a new side of you for people to see?
Yeah, no, when I initially started it, it was literally like I said, it was a journal, like things that I was writing, that I was thinking, that I was going through, just being so, new in the nightlife. I was taking a lot of notes. Like, I don't know, if you're like this, but I have like a ton of iPhone notes in my phone that I just used to like cope with different things or analyze different topics. And so when I first started, I was looking at some of them one day like, damn, like these are something that I think that people could get value from. So I was like, I'm gonna put it out there. And then going back to what you said, why I stopped, I think I stopped it because it started growing more and things like that. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna bring it back in, because I don't, I don't like to do things that don't feel like authentic. I don't like to do things that feel forced. So that's why I kind of stopped it.
What's one of the most impactful notes that you wrote down?
So one I found here is, Lord, please remove all my inhibitions. Just scrolling through, I think that's one that stands out the most.
Mm-hmm. So why that one?
Lord, please remove all my inhibitions. That's something that I say to myself a lot, actually, before I DJ or before I do anything that, requires me to perform at a high level. So it's just something I've always said to myself. Lord, please remove all my inhibitions, all my, self-conscious thoughts, any thoughts that are not going to help me, achieve my goals, anything that's like causing me to doubt myself or, talk down on myself with my self-talk.
All right, man, that self-talk's the most important thing, right? Because you start telling yourself all these negative things every single day, and that's how you prevent yourself. The conversation we just had yesterday was with this artist. His name's Bodhi. And a lot of people put these self-limitations on themselves, saying, I can't do this, or I'm going to wait till the right time comes. But the right time is whenever you feel is appropriate, right?
Right now, exactly.
You wait for a year, and look at all that progress you could have made in a year.
Right, you look back on that year, and you're like, if I would have started, and that's like, when I sent that text to my mom, I was really thinking like, because in my company, our big period was like the summer. We would work really hard in the summer, and then we would do what we do in the fall and the spring, but a lot of it was really geared towards getting prepared for the summer. So in my head, I was like, all right, I'm going to just give it one more summer, and then I'm going to start DJing. And I was like, man, you've been doing this since high school. That's like 6-7 summers, I'm I'm 23, so it's like, how many more summers you gonna wait for it? You know, just go get it right now, see what happens.
That's the most important thing. I mean, even with the podcast, right? I told Vic, I'm like, yo, I think I want to start it next week. He's like, why not this week? I'm
Right,
like,
and we
well,
just be
fuck,
kicking it down the
yeah.
can because we be scared.
Yeah.
That's all it is. We just be afraid. So that's why, you know, that's one of the ones that, you know, that's why when I say why I started it, I was like, man, this might help some people. Because, you know, one thing I did like about when I was doing the Payday recap is people would, like, interpret things differently. So that's why I would put a lot of stuff out there just to see kind of, like, how people interpreted it. So that's one of the things I just feel like anyone could, you know, get value from, you know, because we all have those inhibitions or, you know, self-doubts, you know, whether it's on a big scale or a small scale, everybody has that.
And that's one of the things I noticed most, right? Is some of them were really serious and some of them were deep. And some of them were just fucking literally notes of experiences that happened, right? And there's so much that you can take away from that. You could take away from it that it was just a note that you wanted to write, or you could take away the fact that, like, there might be a deeper meaning for each person.
Yeah, no, I would have people reaching out laughing, which, you know, everybody like to laugh. And then I had people reaching out being like, damn, like, that was deep, you know, or whatever, you know. I don't try to be deep, but it's just like I just be trying to live my life.
The funniest one was the fucking divvy bike.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, I live in the city, so I'm always on a divvy. I haven't driven in like 2 years. So I'm either like in an Uber or on a divvy.
You did the do bogus though. Hey, tell them the story real quick, bro.
No, I mean, so I got there and like I said, I'm always on a divvy, and I think I was running late to something, so I was like, I need to hop on this. But I don't know if you're familiar with divvies. You got the app on your phone, you got to scan it, but sometimes either the bike don't work or there are not enough bikes. So I got to it and it was like one bike left, and this dude like was trying to get it. I was like, bro, like, you're not getting this for me. But and he was like, oh, let's do rock paper scissors for it. And I was like, all right, that's cool, whatever. And then we did it, and I beat him. But I was like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, I got to get to work.
What were you going to do if you lost, though?
I was probably going to try to pay him or something because I was running late. I really needed it. I was like.
You talk about God a lot, you know, that you were raised with it. You went to a Catholic school. Your mom's texting you Bible verses. How much does faith play a role in your life?
I take my faith very seriously. You know, I know just for me, I wouldn't be anywhere that I am right now in life without God. I truly do believe that. Like I said, it's something that my mom has raised me with. And, you know, I just, like, anytime I'm making a huge decision or anytime I, like, have any of those inhibitions or anything that we were talking about, that's, you know, who I'm talking to.
What do you feel like is your biggest inhibition?
You know, something that I might struggle with is just, like, thinking bigger. You know, sometimes I get in a position where it's like, well, if you just thought bigger, you know, you could go further, you know, because I'm very good at, I think, accomplishing things, like, in my arena. You know, I'm very good at mastering things. Like, once I learn a topic, I can master it, but then it's like, okay, thinking bigger, like, where can you go from here?
Knowing how much you can do, that's one part of it, and that's the first step of accomplishing shit. The next part of it is, okay, how far can I take it? I was just talking to Vic, my producer, that next year I want to actually throw a show. I want to start hosting events because, yeah, we've been doing this podcast for 1.5 years. And yes, we picked up traction. But at the same time, it's like, okay, what's the next level? What's the next step to that shit? Because if we're just waiting until one day some shit goes viral, until one day some shit catches fire, you know, it's not like you can wait around your whole life for shit to happen. You got to make that shit happen.
Right. You know, it's funny you say that because I was talking about iPhone notes. I have a note to my phone that says, where can we really take this? And then anytime I have an idea, I try to throw it in there. But then it's like you said, it's like acting on it. So going back is also another thing. It's just like acting on it quicker.
Where do you want to take this, you know, DJing?
For me, I love DJing. You know, I love music. And I think, you know, I take it very seriously. I think something that people don't think about a lot is as DJs, it's also a job, you know, and I think that my job is when people come into the club, they're in the club for whatever reason, you know, either they just broke up with their boyfriend and trying to get over it, either they're having a great night, they're trying to celebrate it. It's my job to deliver that energy to them. So, you know, for me, I want to do that on the biggest scale possible because I think that's, you know, what it could do. Like, I'm sure we've all had a moment where you're in a club and you hear a DJ play a certain song and you're like, damn, that's my song. And whatever you're going through right there, you weren't thinking about it because you were encapsulated in the music. You know, you had that music high. So, you know, I want to do that all across the country, all across the world.
There's a lot of good to this nightlife and there's a lot of bad to it, right? A lot of the times you reach a point where, yes, you've hit a peak and that peak feels great. You're getting all this love from people. You're getting all this attention. But there's points where you're kind of like, okay, how much of this is real? How much of this isn't fake? And how many of these people actually love me for me? I took a song by G-Eazy, Wanna Be Myself, and he says...
That's a banger.
Oh, you know it. Yeah, there you
song.
go.
I could probably quote the whole song for you.
He says, my anxiety increases the higher that I climb. I thought this shit would get easier with time. I'm happy in my mind, but at least I tell myself that. Guess I'm damaged goods. I cannot help that.
He was going in on that song.
I was just trying to quote somebody other than Drake, because I quote Drake a lot on this shit,
That's
bro.
what made me hit your line. I was like, this dude always got the Drake quotes. That's my boy.
Yeah, nah, the Drake quotes, yeah, they be hitting, but I've been hitting them too much.
Hitting them too much. That's like me in the club DJing.
Let's take it back to the lyric, right? And like I said, that attention starts to hit you, right? And just like he says, I feel like it'll get easier the more that I climb, right? But it doesn't. And it almost feels like I'm damaged goods, because just like I said, that love that you're getting, it should feel good to you. It should feel like, damn, I've reached the peak. I'm getting to where I need to be. But at the same time, I cannot believe these people and what they're telling me, because this industry isn't as pure and, I guess, good as it feels, right? As it seems to be. For you, in what ways has this affected you?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think that's something that, you know, a lot of people don't talk about. You know, in the industry, you know, it is what you make of it. And for me, I think I don't struggle with that as much, just because I kind of had that struggle in my old job, right? My old job was a sales job, and it was very much based on, like, performance and, like, accolades and things like that. And I see, especially as a younger man, I was chasing that. You know, I was chasing recognition. I was chasing money, you know, glory, fame, whatever you want to call it. And so when I did make that decision to switch over to DJing full time, that was one of the big parts of it. I was like, you know, this, whatever I do next, I want to make sure that I'm doing it for me. You know, Jeezy talks about being himself. You know, I want to make sure that I'm not basing my value off of what someone thinks of me. I'm gonna base it off of, like, you know, what I think of myself and what my goals are. And so, you know, in the industry, it's easy, like you said, to get caught up in, like, you know, who knows your name or anything like that. But I always try to, you know, stay true to myself, because I know that, you know, I used to struggle with that, and I always try not to slip back into that. You know, that's really just ego, you know, when you think about it, what people think of you and things like that. You know, I try to suppress that as much as I can.
For you, where does the feeling of needing to find peace comes from?
I think the feeling of needing to find peace comes from just, like, you know, when you are outside all the time, that is energy. Like I said, DJing is a job. I think a lot of people don't realize that as a DJ, you still are a human, you know. You still need sleep. You know, we talked about that earlier today. You still need, you know, your space and things like that. So I think for me, a big focus of my life right now is just finding peace, you know, outside of the clubs, because, you know, I do it so often, you know, 6-7 nights a week. You know, for me, it's just like being able to go home to relax, you know, with my cats, and, you know, light a candle, chill, listen to some Drake, and just, you know, find that peace of mind is what I mean, you know.
Damn, you're a cat person, bro.
Yeah, I got 2 cats.
That's what I took away from everything. You're a cat person.
I got 2 cats, yeah.
I think that's hitting me more now than ever, right? Because just like I was telling you, like, we just knocked out 3 interviews in a week, in less than a week, and that shit is fucking, I'm done. I'm ready to go home, sleep.
It's like you go back and forth. You know, we talked about earlier, like, you want to chase them goals, you want to go after it, and you want to get it done now. But then it's like, sometimes you really do need to take a step back, and you need to get your mind right, get your head right, get your body right, and things like that.
For you, what do you feel like's been most effective for you in being able to take that step back? Because it's not an easy thing to do.
Just realizing that it's like, this is the dream, you know, this is my goal. Before, you know, when I met Max, I told him I want to DJ full time just like you, you know, and, you know, I'm here. And it's like Drake said, don't get hyped for the moment and start to backpedal, you know. So it's like, I think it's just realizing that it's like, you know, you made your bed, you got to lay in it. But then how do I, to answer your question, how do I, you know, cope with it or whatever? It's just like having my boundaries and having my space. So, you know, like when I go home, not really on my phone as much, or try not to be. I'm not really, worried about what's going on in the nightlife when I'm at home. When I'm at home, that's my time to just be by myself. Don't hit my phone, things like that.
Yeah, you be having your phone off, right?
Yeah, no, on Tuesdays, I let my phone die. That's what I told people.
I think I seen that shit, actually. And then when I had hit you up, I don't know if it was the first time when I sent you that big-ass message.
Yeah.
That shit didn't deliver. I'm like, oh, he lets, I remember, you let your phone die and shit.
Because I DJ, like tonight I'm at Underground, and then I'm at Music Therapy with Protege at Hubbard Inn. So it's like I DJ, my work week kind of starts like Wednesday, and then I go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So Tuesday is like my only really off day when I'm not like in the club. So I'm like, I'm gonna just let my phone die and then pick it back up on Wednesday.
How do you feel like you were able to find that, man? Because I feel like at 23, it's such a young age to be able to understand creating those boundaries and being able to just find that peace for yourself, right? Most people wouldn't be like, yeah, I'm gonna take this time for myself. A lot of people feel that pressure to be like, okay, my boss needs me, this person needs me here. What if somebody contacts me and I need to talk to them?
The reason why I was so blessed to be able to work with Cutco is because it allowed me to kind of develop some of those skills, for sure, 100%. I started with them as a sales rep when I was 17. And then by the time I was 20, I was running my own office with them. So I had an office out in Iowa City. Then I moved back to Chicago, and I was running my own district for like 2 years. So I was able to kind of develop that mindset because I went so hard. I made a lot of mistakes as a young, person in business. I was working 7 days a week, nonstop, all day, every day. And then I got to that point where you kind of were telling me earlier, it was like, damn. So, I kind of based my transition into DJing. I wrote it down. I take a lot of notes. I journal a lot. I was like, what mistakes did I make in my old job that I'm not trying to make in this job? And one of the biggest ones was like kind of like burning the candle at both ends, like working like, I used to be like a, some people were like, oh, like hustle, don't sleep. I used to be like a no, don't sleep type of person and kind of take pride in that.
Guy?
But now I'm like, nah, like sleep is really important. You need that. And, you need to, it's also important to take a step back. So I think that I was able to develop that just because I had that experience prior for, 5-6 years of doing it the other way. I was like, let me try it this way. It was my own district. So it was me, chasing after our sales goals and things like that. But then, like I said, just realizing that you gotta chill sometimes.
I worked at T-Mobile. And I didn't give a fuck though because I was in college. I was finishing up school, and anytime they hit me up like, yo, you gotta come in, or yo, like, can you cover this shift? I'm like, nah, I'm busy. Leave me alone. I would always tell them, I'm like, I can't work Sundays. They're like, why not? Sundays nobody wants to work and shit, right? And I'd be like, oh, I gotta be with family type shit,
right.
Some bullshit. Speaking of boundaries, man, that's a huge thing that you gotta have, right? Especially as a DJ, because there's so many people that want something from you but don't want anything to do with you when it doesn't benefit them, right? So, man, just thinking of that for you, how has that kind of impacted your mental health?
When you say that, what do you mean?
So there's always people hitting you up, and this happens with any artist, right? But I feel like it happens a lot with DJs because there's always the, yo, get me in. Yo, hey, play this song. Do this shit for me, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, once that night's over, how many of those people are actually contacting you and saying, like, yo, did you make it home? Hey, how you doing? Shit like that. I'm sure at some point it does get into your head a little bit, and you're kind of like, damn, like, it's really like that out here.
I only try to surround myself with people that do care about me, and I think I've just been really blessed with the experiences that I've had in the industry, because a lot of people in the industry, I generally do believe that they care about me, like the Proteges, the Maximos, the Omar G's, the Mauricios, and things like that. When it does happen the other way, where you, like you said, you like, damn, people really are like that, like, or you feel they don't care about you or something, I kind of chalk it up to the game. It's like, well, it's a job. Like, if you was at McDonald's, motherfucker at McDonald's probably wouldn't care about you once they left the drive-thru either. But, sometimes it does get to you, but you just got to realize it's like they going through whatever they going through. And, I'm there to DJ. And for me, when I DJ, a lot of things that I do to help is, like, I DJ for me. It just so happens that, the energy that I'm kind of giving off is affecting the other people, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm going to play this because it's going to make such and such happy. It's like, no, I really love this song, and I'm going to play it. And then I think that, you know, my energy that I'm putting into that song is what's helping them anyway. So that's how I kind of cope every night, because I know I'm going to go in there and I'm gonna get joy from doing it, you know.
I feel like you got the answer, bro. You got the secret to life. You're just really doing the shit you love.
Nah, yeah, I mean, I don't have the secrets, but I think I have lived a lot of life just in what I've been able to experience, like running a business and, you know, moving into DJing full time. You know, I just try to have certain values that keep me going. You know, obviously I'm not perfect. I fuck up all the time. But yeah, I just try to have those values that keep me pushing.
What do you feel like is one of the biggest lessons you've learned so far, you know, in that, you know, living a full life in such a short amount of time?
Why are we doing this? That's something that I you know, when I'm waking up, that's why I ask myself every morning, like, why are we doing this? Because I think once if you get an answer that you don't like, then it's time to change. So for me, when I first started my old job, why am I doing this? Well, I was young, wanted to make money, and then it turned into like, damn, I'm actually impacting these kids, because, you know, we worked with a lot of high school and college students, and they would always tell us, like, man, like, you helped me make this money, you helped me get this scholarship, you helped me do this. So, but then, you know, later down the line, it went back to like, oh, I'm doing this for the money, I'm chasing the fame or whatever. And when I was like, okay, why am I doing this? Okay, I'm only doing this because I'm trying to make money, and I'm trying to win these, you know, I got all these sales trophies and stuff in my closet from like that job. It's okay, let me start DJing because that's what makes me happy. You know, DJing is what brings a smile on my face. It what is, you know, seeing people, you know, dance to either a song that everybody know, or you drop in that song that you know you only know. It's like one of them SoundCloud specials like this in your, like, you know, playlist, and seeing that same reaction, you know, that brings me joy. So like, I just try to like ask myself, like, well, you know, one of the biggest lessons is why am I doing this? Like, am I doing this, like I said, just for money? Or am I doing this because this is what's going to make me happy?
That's the one thing why I couldn't be a DJ. You said you play the music only you like. I really would only play the music I like and shit. So
I mean,
I couldn't do
a
it.
balance. I think as a DJ, you got to like understand, like, everybody's going to have their own sauce. And it's more so not even, you know, for me at least, I don't think it's more so about the song. I think it's the vibe of the room. You know, like, if the club is dead, you can't play like the hottest hit because there's nobody in there. But it's like, if you have a full room of people, I think it's just like the energy that you're giving off, and that's, you know, they're gonna react to it. I think energy, and I'm really into energy. I think the energy that you give off into a crowd of people really has a lot more to do with it than like what specific, you know, song or whatever you're playing.
Man, so we've talked a lot, right? We've talked about being able to control that room, right? Being able to get those vibes, why you transitioned and all that shit. Let's talk about like the DJs that are influencing you, right? DJ Mauricio, right? He's the owner of Hubbard, right?
No, so he doesn't own Hubbard, but he throws a party every Sunday, Sunday Spice.
How'd you guys get plugged up?
Well, I DJ at Joy a lot. I'm a resident at Joy. So when I used to get done at Joy, it used to always be like, when Joy would close, it would still like be bussing. But I was like, why? So I would go to Hubbard and I would see him, but I didn't really know what it was. You know, it was a Sunday, so I was just like, all right, it's lit in here. And then I found out, oh, this is Mauricio's party. And then one day he saw me DJing at Joy in the club, and he was like, oh, I want to book you for Sunday Spice. And it's like, it's a dope party. It's hip-hop, Latin, house, and it's always good vibes. You got the go-go dancers in there. It's like, it's dope. So, yeah, that's how we got linked up.
I've been there before. He be giving out the fucking free tequila shots and shit. Shots.
He does a lot of cool stuff. Mauricio's a cool dude. We play basketball every Monday together, too. So, you know, I was able to kind of, like, get to know him more through there and stuff, too.
Hey, bro, I'll cross you up. Who was the first DJ you mentioned?
Like the first one that like helped me out? Maximo. That's my brother.
So give us a story, man, of you and Maximo. Aside from, you know, Hush, all that shit. Like, give us that exclusive shit.
What you looking for?
Shit, whatever you got.
I mean, Max, that's my boy. You know, I met Max through my really good friend Chaz. Chaz and I used to work together, and he used to always pop out. So before I was even old enough to get in the club, don't nobody know this, I used to go to LXXII, and I used to always get in, no problem, because I had a real ID, but it wasn't my ID. It was my boy E-Train's ID, and we looked like the exact same. So like, he was like 26 or whatever. So I used to get in LXXII with Chaz, And I used to be like, man, like I want to DJ. Like I used to always be talking about it. Like this is years of me talking about it. Probably for like 2 years. I'm underage, can't get in the club. And then I was like, bro, like you gotta help me. Like you always in the club, you gotta help me. And he was like, nah, bro, you gotta talk to other DJs. So I remember one time I linked up with Max. And you know, I didn't go there looking for a handout or anything, but I just found out we had a lot in common. You know, he went to Mount Carmel, went to Brother Rice, which is, you know, all boys Catholic school. So you know, that's my boy. And I don't know, a funny moment. Max is a funny dude. People, I don't know if people know that. A lot of people know that, but
A lot of blackouts.
I don't drink actually. So.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, you need to know that?
Nah, I didn't know that shit.
I've never had a sip of alcohol in my life.
How come?
You know, every time people ask me that question, they ask that. They like, oh, and they think it's gonna be something like deep. It's really not that deep. It's really just like when I was growing up, I was really never around alcohol, and then when I got in high school, I was too afraid to do anything that my mom said not to do. I'm like, my mom gonna beat my ass if I come home drunk or something. And then when I started working, I was just working so much that I never had time. I never went out when I was like working with Vector or anything. I didn't start going out till I was on like the back end of that. And then when I got in the clubs, I was like, it's probably not a good time to start drinking, you know, because
you're working and shit.
Because I was new in the industry. And people were giving me a chance because they were like, oh, I heard this kid's good. But it's like, you got to take those chances seriously, you know. So I was like, it's probably not a time for me to start getting, you know, drunk, especially not knowing what it tastes like or what it's going to do to my body or how it's going to affect my DJing, you know.
Hey, bro, no wonder you got everything put together, bro. Hey, this whole time I've been trying to pick at it, I'm like, damn, like, let me get this dude to reveal some trauma. But damn, like, you don't drink, so you processed all that shit.
I mean, I still go through shit for sure. But, I think, you know, people tell me all the time that I guess not drinking helps for sure.
You're close with your mom and shit, I assume?
Yeah, we tight. She was mad, though. That shit definitely made us not tight for a minute.
Oh, for real?
Because my mom was big on, like, school, like, my whole life.
You said I can't go back home for a little bit.
No, I didn't. Deadass, like, for me, I was a straight A student since I was in, like, kindergarten, all A's. Kindergarten all through high school. I was, like, one of them kids. Damn. So then, and Brother Rice is really big on academics. Like, they don't let you slip on that shit. So that's how I got the full ride to Iowa. I had a full ride to Iowa, U of I, or Cornell.
Damn, so why'd you choose Iowa?
Well, my sister went to U of I, so I'm not going to U of I. Because literally, Brother Rice and Mother Macaulay is the, like, sister school. Literally everybody was going there. I'm not trying to go there. UW-Madison, they wanted me to do what they call early decision, which is like you sign. It's basically like sign a contract. You sign with them and, like, I forgot. It's been so long, but it was like, because, you know, when you're in high school, you trying to figure out where you're going to school. It's like that first semester, you kind of chilling. Mm-hmm. But then second semester, or at least that's what I was doing. I was kind of like, all right, whatever. And then second semester is like everybody started kind of saying where they're going. But with UW-Madison, they wanted me to say I'm going there. And when you do early decision, you can't apply anywhere. You can't apply anywhere else. Mm-hmm. You can't even do nothing. So I had sent all these applications out, and I was like excited to kind of see, you know, who would say yes, who would say no. But they was like, nah, we're gonna give you a full ride. And like, cause school started in August, and they was saying like full ride in like October. Mm-hmm. I'm like, damn, I don't even get to see if U of I fuck with me or, like, you know. Yeah. So I was just real scared to do that because I was like, I ain't really, you know.
You got that straight up through Madison, or you went through a program for that shit?
I went through Posse.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I was a Posse scholar.
I got to, like, the final round on Posse for Pomona.
Pomona was in Cali.
Yeah.
That shit bring back so many memories, bro, because, like, that's why me and my OG fell out, because I was like, bro, this whole time you, like, been putting all this emphasis on school, but, like, it's like, am I good, you know? I feel like a lot of kids go through that, you know, straight A students especially, because we be grinding, like, and I played sports too, so it was like my whole kind of like psyche was like performance. Like, I got to get these A's, I got to behave in school, I got to perform, I got to achieve. And then I kind of started, you know, falling apart when it was Senior year, I kind of started falling apart a little bit because I was like, damn, I've been doing this my whole life leading up to this moment. Because this was all on some, like, if you don't get a scholarship, you're not going to college type shit, you know, because I'm from the South Side. I grew up on, like King Drive, you know, so my mom, the whole time me and my sister was growing up, was on some, like, you got to achieve academically, obviously because she wanted the best for her, you know, her baby boy. But I was just starting to get real scared senior year because I was like, it's coming, you know, this is like, don't choke, you know, you've been working your whole life for this. And then I was starting to get offers and scholarships and things like that. But that Wisconsin shit was scaring me because I was like, I don't want to just jump on the first one.
And then with Posse, you even gotta pay for your own dorm and shit.
Right. So it's a lot of, it's like, I feel like we put a lot of pressure because I was 18. I'm like, these life decisions.
How do you feel like that pressure impacts you now? You know, you've had a lot of time to deal with it, and I feel like that also is kind of where that need for peace comes from, right? Because now you kind of want to find solitude and find that peace for you, right?
You just said it at the end, for you. You know, I think when you're growing up, and, you know, obviously I think this is all because, like, you know, our parents want what's best for us, you know, and they're just trying to do the best they can with what they have. But I think it's like you get to a point where you got to step back and you got to say, what am I doing for me? You know, I have a sister, and me and my sister, growing up, we were like the exact same. She got all A's, I got all A's. But, you know, I just reached to a point where I just decided to do my own thing. My sister, she's a genius. She went to U of I, and then she went to where did she go? And then she went to Columbia to get her master's, and now she teaches at Northwestern. So she's like, when it's funny, when we were at Thanksgiving, my mom was like, yeah, you're a full-time DJ. Like, she, like, you know, kind of chops at me because she knows that that's, you know, what she wanted or whatever. But it's like, you got to get to a point like, I got to do what's going to make me happy, because, you know, I'm sure my sister wouldn't have been able to actually accomplish all those things if that's not actually what she wanted to do. And, you know, that's where I got to the point where I was like, okay, you can only get so far accomplishing something, you know, out of inauthenticity, you know, where it's like, oh, I'm going to do this so my mom claps for me, or, oh, I'm going to do this so everyone thinks I'm super smart, or I'm going to do this so I could, you know, get this accolade or whatever. So, you know, for me, like you said, just doing it for me and just being like in that essence.
Yeah, eventually it gets to that point where, like, you got to do it for you, and you only that's the point I got to, where once I was done with school, I was like, hey, I can't do it no more. I don't want to go get my master's. I want to focus on this shit. And that's going to take you a lot farther. Just like you said, it's going to take you a lot farther than anything else, because without passion, there's nothing left.
I think anything that you take seriously is going to take you seriously. So, like, my sister, she took school seriously, and she was able to get a bachelor's, master's, and a great job at Northwestern, whereas I'm taking, you know, business that I run seriously, and DJing seriously, and that's going to take me where it's been able to take me and even further.
Hey, bro, well, you've been killing it. You killed this interview. I appreciate you coming on,
All
bro,
love.
and just spitting fucking bars. I can't talk today, obviously, but hey, I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, bro. All love.
All right, guys, that's going to be all today. Thank you for watching. Make sure you go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you pop out to his sets, too. DJ Payday, Joy District, Hubbard Inn, Underground. Where else you got?
Electric Hotel with my boy Eric Boss. Prism with my boy D-Flow sometimes.
Soundbar.
Soundbar with DJ Gordo, my boy Sid Banger. This is like the end of the album where they shout out all their people.
hey, he knows how to do it like the Latins, bro. The Latinos,
this
bro.
like the end of the album where you
Shout out all the producers. Hey, Mayhem, Inez, Santos, C-Stays, everybody.
Drip, Protege, Sigma Chris, Kid Clay. And this where I feel like people do this, and then everyone always gets to this point where they start shouting out people, and then they be like, they miss somebody, and then they remember this is why you don't shout people out.
I'ma fucking cut this clip, and I'ma post it on my story, and I'ma tag all of them, and I want them to all repost this shit so they know.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Appreciate you. That's gonna be all, guys. Sad boys for real. Peace out.
This is Sad Boy Radio.
Broken pieces, who's to blame?